Hello, and you're all very welcome along to episode 49, can you believe, and season 5, in association with our partners KCLR, Gordon Park Racecourse, Syndicates.Racing, and our betting partner Boyle Sports. We're looking ahead to day 4 of Punchestown for you, and what a week of racing we're having so far, and what a great day on day 4. We've another 8 races to look forward to, Barry and I, on this show. And before we get to that, Barry, you've got a couple of shout-outs about qualifiers for our competition at the weekend.
Yeah, well, it's time is running out for the followers down below to enter our competition for tickets for Saturday, of course, for the Punchestown Festival. We'll be giving that away, of course, on tomorrow's show, David. And yeah, well, just looking at some of the those that have qualified and some who have been performing well with the tips, David. Brian Walker, 2 winners yesterday, Harsh and Faster Slow, 2 winners for him. Iggsy Lazy goes into the draw as well. He has had Harsh and Dancing City. Craig Masnell, Gorgeous Tom, he was a good winner. That looks a nice horse yesterday, of course, for Henry the Bromhead. Dancing City he had as well. Peter Thornton goes into the draw as well with the exact same 2 selections. And Russell Stanton, what a man on form he is. 3 winners on the first day, 3 winners yesterday, and he's also in the draw amongst others. So, yeah, to enter, David, I suppose selections for day 4 of the Punchestown Festival down below. And to qualify, you must have 2 or more winners. So we look forward to giving 2 tickets away for Punchestown this Saturday on tomorrow's show. I know you quite like one in here, David. 340 at Punchestown is the Hunter's Chase, the Bishop's Court Cup. And you did say, of course, just off air that don't be put off by runners that we've seen maybe earlier on in the week. And the one that sticks out, I think you're right with this one. The Northerner, Sam Curling's Charge, ran an absolute cracker, didn't he, over the 3 mile, steps back in trip. And look, he weakened out of the race, but I think he travelled well and jumped well, suggesting that 2.5 miles might suit.
It certainly will, Barry. And look, Father Gilligan's Voyage was the winner of this race last year and was a 25-1 winner for same connections, John Carr and Pat Taff. So he'll be very strong and be supported by many as well tomorrow. But I just think if you look back to Tuesday's race, I thought the Northerner, for definitely 2.5 miles of that race, was a real contender. I'd say that was a probably stronger race on Tuesday than the sheer look of this race, the opener on Friday. So that's why I think Sam Curling's Charge coming out again on Friday in the opening race, I just think he's got a really good and outstanding chance in that opening race, Barry.
Race 2, David, Percival, should I say, Lagalwa, if I pronounced that correctly, won a bumper at Gordon Park a couple of seasons ago. And I just think off 137, just £2 higher over fences than his hurdles mark, getting a stone in weight from Mr. Policeman, I thought could be quite dangerous. Mark Walsh on board for the JP runner here. WillieMullins, though, he has to be taken serious in the race. He's won the race 7 times, this handicap chase, over the 2.5 miles, 7 times in the last 8 seasons. So it's usually lends itself to a graded horse and a handicap. Kilcrut won it, of course. We were all over it when Kilcrut won the race. But Mr. Policeman, he has disappointed me, David. He's rated 149. Yes, he could be better than that mark. I just think, I don't know, he hasn't impressed me this year. I think stepping up and trip to 2.5 miles will definitely suit him. But I just wonder, could you see Mr. Policeman maybe next season reverting back over hurdles? He definitely is a classy horse and always works quite well at home. I quite fancied him early on in the season, maybe to shape up into something like an Arkle horse, but he has disappointed me. And for that reason, getting a stone off him, Percival Lagalwa, I thought was a real eye catcher before coming down late on in that 2.5 mile handicap at the Dublin Racing Festival. He could be well handicapped, and his career best effort did come at a festival, the Dublin Racing Festival last year, over 3 miles unyielding ground. So the ground isn't going to be an issue. He's a strong stay in 2.5 miler. And I don't know about you, David, but I thought Percival Lagalwa was the way to side in that race 2 on Punchestown Day 4.
Yeah, well, I'd be playing differently now. I'm a real, I love form, and I love to see horses that run into form behind runners in form. And one horse that brings all and ticks all of those boxes for this listed contest is Tactical Move. He was second at Fairyhouse last time behind Spillan's Tower, and look how impressive he was at Punchestown earlier this week. He was beaten just a length and 3/4. Obviously, Mr. Policeman is, really good since that. I was there the day at Naas that he ran. He improved somewhat, brilliantly since then. He's on a hat-trick bid. But I just think tactical move under Danny Mullins at around the 5-1 mark, Barry. I just thought that would be my selection in what looks a rather open-listed contest. But I just feel tactical move, that's second at Fairyhouse to Spillane Tower. That reads great form coming into this, I thought. Let's move on to race 3 because it's a Grade 2 contest on the third race on Friday. Of course, brilliant race to look forward to. Allegor Devassi tops the market. Brideshill not far off though on the betting for this one, Barry. Is this particular race an A or B contest? Do you feel?
Allegor Devassi, one of my old faves, Dave, but she hasn't progressed, unfortunately. And obviously going right-handed is going to suit her better, 2.5 miles. But the ground, I think she could be a little bit better on, more testing ground. So I just wonder, is there enough rain in the, I suppose, in the forecast to suit Allegor Devassi here? The ground, I don't think will suit. Brideshill, is it A or B? I think Brideshill has a very, very good chance in this race. She's a real improver, so she is this season. She's by Dylan Thomas. She loved the nicer ground at Punchestown. She's unbeaten this season in 3 starts, and her career best effort did come at Huntington Enlisted Company when she won very, very snugly. Barry come off the bridle to win by 6 lengths. That was, of course, back in late January. So that was a career best. And Gavin Cromwell, I like the fact that, he's been patient and, he's waited for the nicer ground at Punchestown. If it was good to soft ground on the Friday at Cheltenham, I would have given her a good, each way squeak in the Mayor's Chase behind the likes of Limerick Lace and obviously Dino Blue. But I'm taking on Allegor Devassi. I don't like how she's progressed in her career. And yeah, she has to concede weight as well to progressive Brideshill, who looks a different animal this year. And she's 3 from 4 going right-handed as well. So Brideshill for me. I think Gavin Cromwell could have a nice enough day on day 4.
Yeah, on to race 4, day 4 of the Punchestown Festival, and it's on the line. Brilliant winner at Aintree, second at Cheltenham. He sets the way here, doesn't he, Barry, in this Hunter's Chase?
I think so, David. He's definitely the one to beat. He's going to be my nap pick of day 4 of the Punchestown Festival. He's only a 7-year-old, David. Probably unlucky not to be unbeaten this season. He should be probably 4 from 4. And I just thought he was well on top of the line at Aintree over 2.5 miles. The stepping back up in trip here to 3 miles, I think will definitely suit him. He can sometimes have his own idea of things and can race a little bit lazy. So I think stepping back up in trip is definitely going to suit him. The nicer ground as well. He won on yielding ground when winning this race last year. If you look at the David Christie runners, obviously the second in the race last year, Vaucelet, that hasn't seemed to train on this year. And yeah, I just think both of those, his runners in the race, have been disappointing. Maybe the danger could come from a famous Claremont, who will appreciate a little bit of nicer ground. Didn't run at Cheltenham and won, of course, over 2.5 miles at Aintree towards the back end of last season on good to soft ground. That could be the danger in the race. But for me, it's on the line. Definitely sets the standard, and Derek O'Connor gets on very well with the horse. I'm seeing tissue prices of 3-1. If I got 3-1, definitely not pick of the day on Punchestown Day 4.
Granger and Patrick Mullins.
McGree has justified favouritism, but sharp object out in front, being ready for John McConnell and Alex Harvey.
Western victory, Silver Land. Never be the finishing order.
Yes, and of course, Gorham Park, David, you mentioned the June bank holiday. Of course, the Monday, the June bank holiday. Get your tickets, GorhamPark.ie. It's the Gorham Park Classic, the first of its kind. And what a rich race, David. 200, of course, €1,000 to the winner, and plenty of real interest. Of course, the winner of the race gets automatic entry into the Derby. So, yeah, definitely, I think a race to look forward to. Definitely a day to look forward to. And fingers crossed for the weather, David. You can get your tickets early over on GorhamPark.ie. So be sure to do so. And thanks once again to Eddie and all the team at Gorham.
Yes, absolutely. What a great year they had, despite a couple of issues with weather in the last couple of meetings, but I'm sure a great summer ahead there as well. Right, the champion hurdle, Barry, it's very, very straightforward, isn't it? Stateman turns up, he jumps, and he wins.
Oh, he's an exceptional horse, David, as well, and very unlucky last year, I suppose, to run into the kind of Constitution Hill, and he would be unbeaten in Grade 1s and going for his 11th. He's actually going for his 10th Grade 1, of course, this season, if he goes and wins this at Punchestown. And Stateman and Ballyburn double, that's paying, I think, just a little bit short of even money, 8 to 11. So if you do fancy a short one, wouldn't put anyone off. I think Ballyburn, look, in the next race, David, that we're going to come on to, he is the most exciting novice hurdler that I can remember since the days of a tour, and of course Faheen.
Yeah, we've penultimate race is a novice hurdle. It's the 7:05. It's my nap pick of the afternoon on day 4, or the evening, I should say. A horse by the name of Another Way for WillieMullins and Paul Townend. Looked a very, very smart prospect when winning his maiden hurdle, Barry, very easily in January, and was in very strong contention when falling in a Grade 2 in March. And in that recent Fairyhouse race, he was making very, very good headway. I think his full potential hasn't been seen yet for Simon Munir and Isaac Swayde, and WillieMullins and Paul Townend's Another Way. That's my nap selection on the penultimate race on day 4. What do you like in here?
I suppose that's the question. What rating do you put on Another Way? Because he's certainly very unexposed. He is a course and distance winner. I didn't think he jumped well. Punches 29th of January. All its, I suppose, best efforts in France actually did come on, good to soft ground. So it was a winner on good to soft ground. So the ground, I don't think is going to be an issue for Another Way. I suppose the question is, can he brush up on his jumping, and can he concede £6 to Lark in the Morning, which I think could be a bit of a task now. After looking at Lark in the Morning, I actually thought he was one of the most impressive winners of the week, considering, just look at the race conditions in the Boodles. Obviously, he had a lightweight in the race, but conditions were completely against him. He drifted like an absolute barge pole on the day, Lark in the Morning. He drifted out to something like 9 to 1 from, he was, I think he was favourite the night before the race. It was heavy ground. He raced wide the whole way around, and he comes to the last with his 2 ears pricked. He's getting £6 off Another Way. I think he can continue to progress, Lark in the Morning. I think the whole season has been geared up towards the spring and nicer ground with him. He'd achieved a level of 93, I think he peaked on the flat. So he's a fair animal, this Lark in the Morning, and I don't think we've seen the best of him as of yet. So I think he's a nicer jumper as well than Another Way, and I'm going to take him in the Mulrines to give the Mulrines 2 winners at the festival. Lark in the Morning for me, and Joseph O'Brien, what form his stable's in.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is the penultimate race. The final race is a very interesting bumper, and I thought WillieMullins and Patrick Mullins, again, it's hard to get away for their chances, I thought, in the last race at least. Fishery Lane, Barry, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I like the way this horse is progressing, David. And of course, they've finished second on its first start for WillieMullins. Was bought by the Drews, of course, after finishing second. Ran on well, I thought, at Thurles. The form is working out very, very nicely as well. So that certainly caught the eye when looking at, I suppose, the overall picture of this race. 5th in the Champion Bumper, you mentioned. Never really got into the heat of the battle in the Champion Bumper and was hands and heels up the hill. I thought ran a very nice race. Michael O'Sullivan on board. Went off a massive price, of course, in the Champion Bumper. The bumper format from Cheltenham has taken a couple of knocks. I will concede that. But I just think this horse is progressive. And I like the way, I suppose, he ran on up the hill, was held up, race wide throughout. And yeah, I think he's definitely the one to beat in this race. What maybe a couple to mention, IAmMaximus is partly owned, of course, by the Flooring Porter syndicate, and I think that could be a nice horse for Gavin Cromwell. That finished second, of course, on its latest start. And Don't Stop the Music hasn't been seen since Galway. That finished second to I Will Be Bay. That could be an each way bet as well for Martin Brazel. Derek O'Connor on board. I think that form hasn't worked out all that bad with I Will Be Bay, of course, running well in a Grade 1 behind Dancing City over hurdles earlier on in the season. So, but I think Fishery Lane looks like it's progressing at a rate of knots, and I think it could be tough to beat for Patrick Mullins, who I suppose we haven't really seen him in the winner's enclosure with a bumper winner yet. I think he'll win today with, of course, Port Julian as we're recording. This might give him a second bumper winner at the Punchestown Festival, day number 4.
Yeah, well, that's it. And as you said, we are recording on day 3. I'm about to wrap things up here, jump in the car, head down to County Kildare to Punchestown, and looking forward to a cracking day. Barry, as always, we'll be back with day 5 preview. And thanks to all of you once again for watching and listening. And once again, if you haven't done so at the start of the show, you might just subscribe down below to Champ.ie. And a big thank you to all. Hopefully we found you some winners. See you soon.